Hello, everyone. So it's Wednesday evening, and I actually just finished talking to a couple of members who were asking me about a routine that I do daily with the oils. So, for most of you, you've been introduced to the oils, you've started to use them, you've probably gotten the premium starter kit, the one that has all of the oils and the diffuser. And so you have a good foundation to start working with the oils and covering different concerns that you may be having and ways to support your different body systems. So I also had spoken to many of you about the Essential Rewards program. That's for those of you who are really starting to recognize the benefits of the oils and also the other Young Living products, perhaps some of the supplements or the personal care products. I had talked about how in our house we use the shampoo, we use the conditioner, we use the soap, the dishwashing detergent, we drink the Ninja Red juice. And so for us, it really makes sense to be on that monthly auto ship, which, as I mentioned before, is an optional program and not one that is mandatory to be on. But it's a great one where you can earn little perks and benefits like earning points for free products and things like that. So I wanted to share, because I have been asked a few times, people ask me, what do you actually use for your emotional well-being? Like, how do I start my day? Well, I will be honest, that varies. I switch up depending upon the things that are going on. Like if I know that I'm in for a rough day, if I know that perhaps I'm going to be down in the city at the VA hospital, which I frequent very often because I'm a veteran caregiver, I will probably use a couple of oils to help with easing the effects of stress on my body, but also oils that help to boost my immune system and also help to keep me calm, because that can be a really intense environment. Or if, let's say, I'm going to have quite a few clients coming in and I know I'm going to be working on them, well, then I know that I need to use oils that actually help to dispel negativity and help to create kind of a barrier or shield around me. One of the things that I always try to explain to people is that everything that is around us, including our own bodies, is frequency or energy. People sometimes will hear the word energy and they kind of think it's some kind of foo-foo new age thing. No, it's just frequency, vibration, and everything has frequency and vibration. And that's basically on a molecular level, the speed at which the electrons move and the interaction and the protons and the neutrons and all that good stuff creates frequency. So we know that our bodies are healthy at a certain frequency. And when our frequency is lowered due to perhaps stress or not eating properly or not sleeping properly, our frequency will get lower. And at lower frequencies, that's where things like viruses and bacteria and cancer, they thrive at lower frequencies, which are also considered when our body is acidic. So these are all different little things that we have to keep in mind when we're talking about well-being. One of the things that I want to mention, though, is that we have a lot of people who are kind of dabblers with the oil. I am, or I should say, I was the same way. I was that way for 8 years, for those of you who know my story. Introduced about 8 months after I had suffered a stroke. I started using them to help support my body systems. I had amazing shifts happen to me within about 6 months of when I started using them. And I basically forgot about them and went back to life and rode that roller coaster of waiting until I had some really major big things before I started reaching out and seeking out other ways to help regain my well-being. So one of the things that I say is, just like, for example, if you say, oh, I really want to work out, I want to get fit. Well, what good is it going to do you if you go to the gym once every month or once every 2 weeks? If you say, I really want to start nurturing my body with better nutrition. Well, if you're only eating a salad once a week, but then you're eating junk food the rest of the week, how is that going to help you? Or if you wait until you're all backed up and constipated and then you decide, oh, I shouldn't be eating that fast food. Let me go and eat a bran muffin instead. Or let me start drinking more water today. Well, that's great, but it's not going to benefit you if you're only doing it for that one day. So when you first start working with the oils, it's really important to be consistent. You have to use them on a regular basis in order to actually feel and experience their benefits. So it's the same thing for our emotional well-being. There are so many people that are struggling. I'm shocked with how many people I have that come in that are professionals, and a lot of them work in the healthcare industry, and they're actually on different medications for things like depression and things like that, rather than looking into nutrition or perhaps getting exercise, which exercise is a great stress reducer, or looking at things like meditation or yoga, or all these. You have a lot of different options. It doesn't really matter, but which one you pick. It's just that there's all these alternatives, natural alternatives, to help support your well-being, especially your emotional well-being. So one of the things that I do, and I try to do it almost every day, it's a regimen that Gary actually mentioned on how to start your day. So I started doing it a while back, and every so often I go through periods where I will start to do it again. But every single day I use these oils. I perhaps just don't use them in the order that he suggests. So let's start. Every day I start with Valor. So Valor is known as the balancer, the great aligner. Some people call it chiropractor in a bottle. I love it. I absolutely love it. So what I do is I actually take a drop of it and I put it right on my wrist. And then I will just go ahead, and I always do 3 circles. That's just something I do. And I just hold my wrists. I hold them together. I usually will close my eyes. I'll make sure both my feet are planted on the floor. And I wait for that moment where I feel the alignment come in. It's a great grounding technique, a great way to start your day. A lot of people will start their day in prayer or in exercise, but this is a great way to energetically start your day, is with Valor. The next oil that I use almost every single day, this is one of my favorites. I know I have a lot of people out there that love this oil, is Joy. So Joy, I actually will take a drop or 2. And once again, I'm a 3-circle person. So I do my 3 circles. And for me, I put it over my heart. And then I take the rest of it. I inhale it, because please remember that when you inhale an essential oil, it actually is able to access the limbic system of your brain, and that's where we hold our emotions. And I usually will take the rest of it and go ahead and stroke it through my hair, because I love to smell the oils throughout the day. And when I greet people and they hug me, they're always like, oh my gosh, you smell so good. What are you wearing? Well, I'll tell you, I just about stroke every oil that I put on me in my hair as well. So joy, think about it. You're putting joy into your heart. The frequency of joy, this blend of oils, actually helps to raise your heart frequency. And for a lot of us in the world that we live in, we're not necessarily coming from the heart. Most of us are coming from a head space, which is practical in many ways, but remember that we are spiritual beings. And so to come from that heart space really opens up many things for us. I actually have quite a few people as well who struggle with grieving. And so one of the things that we know is that you can use certain oils on different reflex points throughout your body. And for grieving, they will put joy right here on their adenoids. So right there on the nose, like if you're wearing glasses, exactly where they sit, they actually will put joy oil on the adenoids to help with whatever it is that they're grieving. And that can be many, many things. It doesn't have to be the death of someone. It can be the loss of a job, or grieving an idea that is not coming into fruition. So a lot of different things. The next oil, this is one of my son's favorites. It's called Harmony. And this is a powerhouse of an oil. I know that when I first smelled it, I didn't really like it. And if you've heard some of my previous videos or have heard me speak at different seminars, I've said quite often that if there's an oil that you do not like the smell of, it is probably the one that you are in need of. And so with Harmony, it made sense because at that time, my mind, my body, my spirit were not necessarily communicating with each other in a balanced, harmonized way. And so that one really stirred me up. But now I absolutely love the smell of it. So Harmony is one. You can also take a drop of it, and you will actually take that and you will apply it over your solar plexus. So if you go underneath, right where your rib cage kind of comes in a V there, I don't know if you can see, but you will put it right there at that point. That's your solar plexus. So that's probably about a hand's width above from your, or a little bit more above from your belly button. So your solar plexus, which is just an energy center there. We take energy in and out of our bodies through different areas. So that's one of the areas. So that's Harmony oil. And then the last oil, which is one that I use very often, I actually use it multiple times a day. It's called White Angelica. And this is very much a protection oil. So this is one that I will use before I start my day. This is one that I then use throughout the day, like before I'm about to work on a client, I will put it on me. So Gary actually recommends that you take a drop of White Angelica. You will notice that when I do the oils, I don't bang them out. I try to actually let them fall into my hand on their own. And this one is kind of at the end of its rope here. Oh, here it comes. There we go. So you take a drop of White Angelica, and Gary actually says that you would want to go ahead and apply it onto your shoulders. I will tell you what I do is I actually will take it, I apply it onto my shoulders, I go up over my head, on my back, I come down my arms, I come down the front of my body, all the way to my feet, and then I come up the back. So it's almost like you're creating a protective shield over yourself. I love this oil. And people will say to me, well, does it really work? Well, I will tell you that I don't really have people that come to me with aggression or nastiness. Most of the people, I'd say 99.999% of the people that come before me or interact with me come to me from a very gentle space. And those who are coming in not such a good place usually kind of go off on their own. A long time ago, I heard someone say to me, just remember, Jessica, the bigger aura always wins. And what I believe that they meant by that was that the bigger energy. So if you have somebody who, or if you know you're going into a space where perhaps there's a lot of aggression or a lot of sadness or a lot of sickness, you want to actually boost your energy field up, keep it strong, so that when you go into that space, you're not then being kind of taken over or swallowed up by the energy of the other people or the things that are going on around you. So these are the 4 oils that I would highly suggest for all of you to start incorporating into your daily routine. This is what makes a really big difference in starting to shift your emotional awareness of what your purpose is in this life. I'm a big believer in God. I have my own spiritual beliefs about that, and I respect, and obviously I respect everyone else's beliefs as well, whether you call that your higher self, whether you call God or I am or creator or the great spirit, it's all fine. I'm sure that most people aren't used to hearing young living people talking about things that are of a spiritual nature, but I obviously, kind of go to another beat. And my beat is that I'm going to speak what I know as the truth in my heart as of right now. And so what I'm sharing with you is that please know that your emotional well-being is probably responsible for your physical well-being at a greater capacity than what you even recognize. So when we have health issues happening in our body, one of the first places or the first things that you want to think about is, what does this represent to me on an emotional level? What is my body telling me? A lot of people believe that illness and disease or dis-ease within the body is a manifestation of emotional issues or patterns that are now taking hold within the body, creating blockages in our energy flow. And so we really want to be aware that the power of your mind, the power of your thoughts, the power of your words does impact your physical well-being. And so to shift that, you can shift it by using these oils that are of a higher frequency that will actually raise your vibration. I hope you've all found this helpful, and I look forward to hearing or speaking to you. If any of you have questions, please don't hesitate to contact me. Have a wonderful day.